we established this. They have 2 playoff wins since you've been born.
I know. I haven't seen much success.
Drew Pearson now on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Drew, my co-host, has only seen 2 Cowboy playoff wins in his life. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. He must be very young.
Almost 30.
No, I'm 28. All I know is
wow,
Cowboys
that's not
failure.
That young.
No, and that kind of like when you put it in perspective like that, it kind of shows you how tough times this team has been on since the 90s, really.
Yeah, it really is, and it's hard to imagine. But yeah, when you put numbers to it like that, then you think about the lapse. Then you think about all the others, including the Philadelphia Eagles that have won Super Bowl titles, within that span of time, then you're saying, wow, man, that's what I was thinking. Maybe this year is the Cowboys' turn. That was before the season, but I don't know where they're headed right now. But yeah, it's amazing. I spoke to some kids today at a middle school, and they're like 12, 13, 14 years old, and I showed them my Super Bowl ring, and they were stunned to know that the Cowboys had even won a Super Bowl. So yeah, it's amazing the lapse. So we'll see how much longer it continues.
Yeah. Well, what's this week been like? We know Monday night did not go well. There was a lot of people, talking about the head coach and the quarterback. It seems like it's been a rough week down there.
Yeah, it always is when the Cowboys lose. Every time we lose, they want to fire Jason Garrett and get rid of Dak and everything else. A lot of people weighing in on what the Cowboys should do and stuff like that. But when they win, then everything is good. So they just got to start winning, put winning back on the right side of the ledger and see where things go. And no better place to start doing that than Philadelphia this week.
When you look at this Cowboys team, you mentioned, all right, at the beginning of the year there were some high hopes. You would look at it from outside where we are and say they are limited offensively. Has anything this season changed that perception for you? Like they still seem limited offensively. I like their defense, but I feel like they're limited offensively. Would you agree?
I would agree because, everything in football, period, starts up front, offense and defense. And you got a good offensive line. You got a very capable, good defensive line. Then that offense is going to look good based on that, and the defense is going to look good based on that. And that's where the strength was for the last 3 or 4 years with the Cowboys and that offensive line. But since then, it's not the same. And then they bring in an offensive line coach that coaches one way for 20-some years with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he tries to instill that type of philosophy as far as pass protection and offensive line blocking to this offensive line, and it just wasn't working. And so that caused some problems, but everything starts up front, so now you can't block. Now you have trouble running the football, and now you have trouble passing the football because of that. People aren't respecting our passing game. So, yeah, the offense has had all kinds of problems this year, and there's still a lot of work to be done. You put a Band-Aid on it like Amari Cooper. That's a nice addition, but you paid a high price for that addition. But with this offense and the play calling, the way it's been, Amari Cooper is just a Band-Aid on what the problem really has been with the Cowboy offense.
Drew, I mean, you just said it yourself. There's a lot of issues and a lot of different moving parts as to why the Cowboys have struggled this year, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. But, from an outsider standpoint, I don't know what to think about Dak Prescott, and I want your thoughts on what you see in Dak. What's the reason for his struggles this year outside of the factors that you said? Do you believe in him as a leader and the franchise quarterback moving forward for this team?
Yeah, I really do. I have a lot of faith in Dak. I don't think Dak is the problem. I think he's held on the ball too long in situations. But, when you're getting sacked, I think he's sacked third most times in the NFL. When you're getting sacked and rushed and hit and pressured back there, that's a tough position to play when that doesn't happen. When that does happen, man, you get jittery, your feet move, and that's what I see in Dak. He's just not confident when he sets up, when he drops back, that he's going to have the time he needs. And then you look, when he starts looking downfield, you know, you look at the tape, you look at the film. There's no separation in those receivers. No one's getting open. There's no threat there. And so that's a problem. And then you got an offense that really doesn't do the things anymore. Dak's rookie year, we were taking advantage of the assets he brings, and we don't do that anymore. The number one asset was we had that running game going with Zeke, and then off of that, we were doing the play-action passes, and bam, that was our passing game. You know, we were moving the chains that way. But now we don't even do the play-action passing anymore. So you're taking away things that Dak does well and trying to force things that I don't even know what they're trying to force. This offense, as far as what I see, guys, I don't even see any identity there or anything. We're trying to run the football. We're a play-action team. We're trying to throw the football downfield. And if we throw it downfield, are we trying to go deep? Do we care to attack deep? Are we in the middle of the level of the zone passing type offensive team? So after 8 games, and a bye week included, I don't see much of an identity with this offense right now.
You might have just already answered this question, but if you were putting the game plan together for the Cowboys going up against the Eagles this Sunday, from an offensive standpoint, what do you think is the best blueprint for success for the Cowboys? What do they need to do offensively to try and steal a win here in Philly?
Well, it's going to be hard to do because I'm not playing, so they can't have me out.
They could use you.
Suiting up, Tony Hill, Tony Dorsett, and Drew Pearson.
I hear you. I tell you what, if I did suit up and go out there and we broke the huddle, I would get the double coverage. They would tilt the field my way, the defense my way. That's for sure.
Love it. Love it.
But anyway, against the Eagles, they got to get back to their identity, which should have been established already by now, and that is to run the football. Everything's got to be based on that, predicated on that. You know, Zeke's got some numbers. You know, we just got to do it a little more consistency. The problem last week is the fact that we only had the ball for 25 minutes. You know, and that was a problem as far as the number of carries and things that you can do. So if we can control the time of possession a little bit,
right,
keep our defense rested, so when they do step on the field, they can create some havoc for Philadelphia's offense, and especially Carson Wentz. Can't let him be comfortable back there. He's starting to get back into the groove like he was before he got hurt. So he could hurt us pretty good, even if we tried to stop the running game and put the game in his hands. The addition of Golden Tate, to me, that's a better addition than Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys, because I always have been a Golden Tate fan. I just love the way he plays the game, the way he approaches the game, a teammate, a good guy in the locker room. He blocks downfield. He catches the inside passes. He's got yards after the catch. That's the guy I would have tried to bring here to Dallas, if you ask me. But anyway, it's going to be a tough chore for our Cowboys and the offense to go against that Eagle defense. And, again, it's going to be tough for our defense to try to stop Carson Wentz in that offense.
Well, the Eagles' offense has struggled, and this is a good Cowboys defense. The last couple of years, it's kind of been like a scrappy, hard, working defense, but they're pretty good, this Cowboy defense.
Yeah, they get after it. And the ringleader over there is a guy that won't let them play any other way than relentlessly is DeMarcus Lawrence, number 90, the defensive end. He just brings it. He plays hurt. He practices hurt. He brings it. He sets that example. He sets the tone. And if the other guys don't want to follow him, then get off the field, because he ain't going to tolerate that. And you see it within the defense. We don't make all the plays. We still don't get enough turnovers and get that ball back for our offense. But one thing you can't question on our defense is the effort. These guys will be there. They'll bring it. Jalen Smith, the strides he's made through the season after dealing with the injury and playing last season, his game from last season to this season is totally improved. We're going to miss Sean Lee back there, but, hey, guys, guess what? We've gotten used to playing without Sean Lee.
Yeah.
And this dude, Van Der Esch, the rookie linebacker, he's just as bad. He's just not as knowledgeable as Sean Lee, but as far as athletic ability and talent, he's just as good as Sean Lee.
Well, the one spot, Drew, I don't know if the Eagles moved ahead of Dallas and took Dallas Goedert, the tight end, but I feel like when Witten left, Dallas maybe they like these kids down the road, but I feel like that Dak doesn't have that guy that he can just kind of dump one off to.
There's another thing, Jason Witten's gone. I know Jason Witten wasn't the fastest guy, but he was the most reliable guy there, and he was like a security blanket for Dak when he was there. Dak won 22 games in his first 2 years as quarterback, and a lot of it is because of people that he had surrounded around him, and one of those guys was tight end. But here's another situation where they made a decision after Jason Witten retired that they weren't going to go get a veteran tight end. They thought they had what they had. They got a guy that played basketball, and he suits up with the active roster that I don't understand. What can he contribute? He Rico Gathers. So that's what they live with tight end. And there's another, as I said, there's another decision they made on the personnel side that as far as where we are after 8 games, it's backfired. Even the Dez decision to this point has somewhat backfired.
Yeah.
So this is another decision to go with these tight ends to replace the great Jason Witten, and that certainly has backfired too.
The great Cowboys and Eagles rivalry Sunday night back in Philadelphia. The great Hall of Fame Ring of Honor Drew Pearson right here on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. It's always fun when these two teams get at it, and it's always good to get your opinion on this game. It's a lot of fun as always, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. 16-5 versus the Eagles in my career. Just saying, okay?
I missed it, Drew. I missed it.
Oh, man. Appreciate it, man. All-Pro 3 times, and he led the NFC in pass catches in 1976.